Meanwhile, it has been more than 24 hours since news broke of Phoenix Mercury star Brittany Griner's release from a Russian prison.
And now that she's back on U.S. soil, she has adjusted to being back. So what is that like? We spoke with a campaign called Bring Our Families Home to find out.
After spending 294 days in Russian detention, Brittany Griner is finally back in America.
All of us are over the moon for Brittany and for Sherelle, and grateful for Sherelle's promise to continue advocating for the other families.
Jonathan Franks is with Bring Our Families Home, a campaign that brings attention to people being wrongfully detained overseas and calls on the White House to take immediate action. Franks has helped about 5 families, the most recent, Trevor Reed, who survived nearly 3 years in a Russian prison and was released this past April as part of a prisoner exchange. It's a surreal moment that's full of anxiety.
Everything has to go perfect. They're very carefully orchestrated. You got to think of it almost as a ballet. And, once they're on the airplane, you take the sigh of relief and get to talk to them.
And once they land in San Antonio, Texas,
It is really hard to come out of this experience without a little bit of PTSD, right? These are inhuman, scary, you're in fight or flight the entire time, right?
however,
Like the U.S. Army runs the best hostage reintegration program in the history of the world. Brooke Army Medical Center in San Antonio, and the people that the clinicians and staff that run that program, probably found out on Monday that this was going to happen, right? And they had to organize this in 2 days.
mentally, Franks says the adjustment is initially challenging.
The goal of the program, right, is to deal with the unique medical things that come from being in captivity, right? And, then begin to sort of rapidly reintegrate them in a safe way into life, right? Because these people have been told when to sleep, when to not sleep, when to pee, when to not pee, right? Like they have no free will. And suddenly they get off the airplane, they can make all these choices like, what am I going to have for breakfast, right? There's a menu. Oh my gosh, right? So it takes them a minute to kind of like readjust to having free will.
In Paul Whelan's case,
Left behind 3 times by 2 presidents, and it's disgraceful, right? Now,
but it's not just people trapped in Russia. Franks says there are people detained in Iran, Venezuela, China, and Africa.
we have people in trouble. They're being tortured. They're being mistreated around the world, and we have to care. We can't look away. We have to care because our politicians don't care unless we do,
And why should Americans care?
because it could happen to you.
Franks doesn't think that we'll hear from Griner anytime soon. He believes that she'll need to complete the reintegration program, which could take anywhere from several days to several weeks.